I just don't get it. Like, this guy personally should, if you support him, you know what? Move to New York City, live there under that. You really want to see what some of these areas are like? Go look at some of the other more socialist areas. Like, fuck
so just imagine this, Brad. Imagine this. Imagine he wins, right? Just picture this. He wins, and then all of the people that think, oh man, what a great idea, they decide, you know what? They've got a socialist mayor in New York. Let's go to New York. So then you get all the fucking socialists and socialist sympathizers to go, and then you get all the capitalists to fucking move out. Like, it would just be beautiful to watch, what would happen over a 10-year period when their policies are the ones that are put in place, and when the people that like those policies, capitalism can only be leached from so far. And what they're going to realize is that, the only reason they even get an opportunity to enact some of these policies is because they're a parasite that leeches off of capitalism.
I agree, and here's another case in point, because I just remember this. And KK had talked about this a while ago. Cuomo himself, during the pandemic, came on public TV and pushed back against a lot of these socialist ideas. And one of his closing arguments is, I'm asking my rich colleagues, I'm asking for the wealthy investors, I'm asking for people to move back to the city. And they're telling me no. We can't implement a lot of these socialist dream wishes because they won't come back and invest in you. And those companies and those people still haven't come back to New York City. And if you push them out further, those investments going to Dallas or Florida or Carolinas, they're going to stay there. They're not going to relocate billions of dollars to operate in another state and then say, you know what, New York City, they just had a bad idea. They're never coming back. Once you lose that financial market, your fashion market, your power, New York City's excellence is not recognized around the world. That market will move, and you'll have places like Dallas recognized as the epicenter. It'll become one of those, financial markets where the movers and shakers go to. And if you think they won't, they already did it once, and that was just under the pandemic, and they had a centrist, if you want to go Democrat, that was kind of retarded, but he at least kept it. He recognized where his bread was buttered and where most of New York City's bread was buttered, and he had losses. This guy gets in there, it's fucking done. Just look at AOC's district. She's not brought one single job to her district. She's not contributed, and her district's a shithole, and it's all progressive socialist run. Nobody wants to live there. Nobody enjoys it.
Don't a lot of those companies already have an exit strategy, like other offices elsewhere to move? A lot of the bigger financial institutions.
Yeah, most of them are already operating out of Connecticut. I think Roger's more well versed in the economic market movers and shakers than I am. But I know that they have offices that they're developing there, and they're also building them in Austin, in Texas. You have even California's hemorrhaging movers and shakers there. They're already building in Houston, Texas, like they're taking Texas. So if Texas becomes the financial capital of the United States and the big mover and shaker, you think somehow a very vastly Republican state is going to, sit there and tolerate like a New York? No, they're not. They're going to keep those financial interests afloat. They're already moving. Just look.
Abby, you've got the plus mark. What are you getting from the plus mark?
Oh, I have no idea. I just clicked on it. So what am I getting from it? I guess the anonymous thing, if I want to use it.
I was just going to ask, have you used the anonymous feature, Abby?
Hold on one second. I'm just getting my car somewhere. Have I used it? I used it in one of the hate rooms. And one of the very liberal rooms. And two, I've used it. Just because the one guy calls me out and yells at me if he sees me in the audience.
That is the exact same reason, well, almost, that JB said he uses it because he wants to anonymously check out rooms where people constantly call him out and disrespect him.
But
Yeah,
those are
there's one.
cowards, though. Those are always cowards. So like you can identify. We're not new to Clubhouse. We're all old veterans of it. Like the same shit happens to Roger, happens to me. They'll create a room, call you out, and say, "Oh, what a danger and threat you are to democracy for your ideas or viewpoints or your comments." And then it's speaking from some Brazilian fucking embassy. And then they'll
Bingo, that's the guy.
And then when you go in there and say, "Here, challenge me," or come up on stage and challenge me, what do? They run and create a room, and then they have these whole socialites. Oh, like I know best, dude. You played a guitar your entire life, and we're a welfare cup. That is the extent of what your contribution is. Like, don't spare me with your fucking intellectual knowledge on how the U.S. government and geopolitics and how cultural wars are significant to you. Like, peace, love, dope. You should have stayed in the 60s.
Well, that, if I may very quickly, that room that both of you are referring to is admittedly an echo chamber. They don't want to hear opposing opinions. And even if you're in the audience listening, my understanding is if they know you to be, it could be very respectful, very well-versed, very expressive, but it's the opposing opinion, they will kick your ass out of there.
That's why I miss Greg Sattel. I honestly do. Having met the guy, I miss his dog walk rooms. I could argue with him till he would get mad as hell. But you know what? The man would sit down and have a beer with me.
Greg?
Yeah, Greg.
Yeah, I met him. And I coffee with him. I totally agree with you. You can sit down and talk with him.
Yeah, I love the I love the man. I still consider him a friend today. If he called me up and said, "Hey, I need you here," I'd show up. I'd be ready to rock and roll.
So here's the difference with Greg and those people, because he agrees with them on like probably 98% of the issues. The difference is he also, as a first principle, is a heterodox thinker, and he will allow room for you to disagree. And so he was, I don't know if you guys remember, they tried canceling him and went into this big old thing about how he was such a bad guy and a misogynist and this and that and the other thing. And I disagree with Greg on virtually everything, but I have a lot of respect for him in the fact that he can represent what he believes, and he can have a conversation with people, like just as you were saying, you could have a beer with them. The difference is that he's not threatened. Like when you start taking these political ideas and then like make it part of your personality, then when somebody disagrees with you, you feel like like threatened in some way. And I think that the intelligent people, and Greg is one of them, are able to have those conversations without feeling threatened because he genuinely believes he's right. He genuinely believes that his ideas are best, and so he's willing to listen to yours, and he'll try to convince you of where you're wrong, and have those conversations. The others, they don't want to have that conversation, and they don't want to have that conversation because they just don't have the depth. And so that's the thing. When they try to dismiss you like that, they just don't have depth.
Well, it's similar to there's a couple other rooms that are run, like the one that has Alzheimer's Thinking Forum. That one is again, it's just a collection of people, and not all of them, but it's like any amount of disagreement is immediately condemned and shot down, and it's like it turns into a whole rally. And like Greg, you're right. He would allow an argument, but he would believe he's right. But I also have watched Greg concede that he's been wrong, which is really great. I've been wrong many times, but Greg has also conceded on that front, and it was respectable. And again, I can admire somebody. You can come from a different lens. Like, we're good. We can still have a beer and still watch the kids play together and have a great time. But I don't know. Some of these other rooms, it's just I don't know where to go. Like, I gave up doing political rooms for a reason, Roger, because it was just, everything Trump bad. nothing in this country was ever really discussed at a high level, and then it just kind of got boring.
I mean,
Yeah.
the irony with Greg is that when we met, we're like from kind of the same neighborhood, grew up very similarly. We have like 1 million people in common. Like we're basically, it's not that we were so different from each other. It's very different viewpoints, but culturally very much similar. And there were no differences, but for our political differences. But I found him to be incredibly pleasant and reasonable that way.
Yeah.
So
And I've had heated arguments.
but I just want to, if